Everyone, welcome to the 26th Easy Excel tutorial, part of easyprogramming.net. Today I introduce to you the COUNTIF function in Excel. Last time I covered the if function, or the if statement. Although it sounds similar, the COUNTIF function is not related to the if function. It's more closely related to the count function, which I went over in Easy Excel tutorial number 4, almost 2 years ago. So the COUNTIF function gives you a count of values based on your criteria, whereas the count function just counts everything in your way. You can use the COUNTIF function several ways, and today I'll show you 4 quick ways the COUNTIF function can be of use to you. I have 4 little worksheets here to do numbers, number comparison, text, and something called expressions, which you can customize and let COUNTIF do the work for you. So what you see in front of you is just a list of numbers, just 18 numbers, and we're going to count how many of them are 5s, how many are 10s, how many are 15s, and how many are 25, right? So as with any function, you start off with equal sign count. If you want to type in count, there are a few others. So count A, count blank. There's the count ifs, which is for multiple criteria, so I'll use count if. So we'll select A1 through A18, comma. The next parameter that goes in is the criteria, and we want to say it's 5, right? That's all you need. And there are 5 5s. If you count them, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's correct. So if you have a long list of numbers and you want to find out how many times a number appears, whether it's just single digits or you're looking for dollar values, you can use this and find out how many times, let's say $10,000 shows up in your work budget. Let's do the same thing for 10. Is the exact same. Count blank is something else. It's easy. So count if is something else. So we'll do again A1 through A18, comma 10. And there's just 110, right? 1. Can't find any more. So we'll do 15. Count if. 15, and there's 2. Right? There's 1 here and 1 here. And finally 25. 25. And there's 2. There's 1 here and 1 here. It's that simple. So whether you're looking at 18 numbers or 100,000, you can use this to find what you have. Let's do number comparison. So this is something that I use pretty often to compare 2 different rows. Normally there'd be, let's say in work, I work with person IDs where in different systems, and I want to find out if a list of persons exists in this application or this database. So I take an export, put it into Excel if I can't do it in SQL, and I do a little rough comparison. So here I want to find out if the number 15 exists anywhere in this list. Here I only have 12 numbers, but when I'm working with this kind of things at work, I have columns with thousands of rows. So let's do this. I'll show you how to do this. So it's count if. So you want to count this whole range, and I want to do this formula once for the entire 12 number comparisons. So I'll do F4 for absolute referencing. If you want to know what absolute referencing is, you should watch that tutorial where I go over the difference between absolute and relative referencing. We'll do comma, and the criteria we want to look at is this 15, right? So we want to say the cell number rather than the cell address rather than the actual number 15 like we did in the first worksheet. So if 15 exists in that list, it'll give me a count of 1. So that means it exists once. In the type of data that I work with, as long as it exists once, it's great. If it exists more than once, if I get 2, that means there's duplicate data and something is wrong. That's just an example. So let's autofill. And I know 25 exists, 7, 22, 5, and 120 exists. The rest of these other numbers where 0 appears, that means they don't exist on the list at all. In my case, at work, this would be a problem because that means the users in this column does not exist in the application or in the database or whatever. So this is a really cool way to do a big comparison later on, and later on you can do a count or a sum here to find out, to make sure if you have 900 users, you have that this column auto sums to 900. Right now it's 6. Okay, that's all with number comparison. Let's move on to text. So COUNTIF can also find text for you. Let's say you want to find out how many people have the name Smith, Jones, and Tylers. Tyler. So we'll do COUNTIF. So let's select this whole thing. There's 26, 27 names. We'll do comma. Let me just scroll back up. The criteria is Smith. Since we're using a text or a string, we want to put it in quotes so that it doesn't throw an error. Otherwise, if you do it without the quotes, you'll get an error. And there's 4 Smiths. If you want count, you can. I'll upload this later to my website at easyprogramming.net. You can download it and take a look and practice. So what would happen if I didn't include the quotes? Let's do that here. COUNTIF, comma, it's typing up here, Smith, right? I get 0. Why? Because I can't find Smith. Because it does not exist in this format. You need to specify strings with quotes, and there you go. So we'll do a couple more practice ones. So COUNTIF, this, comma, Jones. So I did this in lowercase. It is not case sensitive. Microsoft Windows products are not case sensitive. And we'll do one more, COUNTIF. Just select the whole column here. Tyler. Remember the quotes, and there's 3 of them. You can count them again if you want. So that's pretty cool, right? Yeah. And the last thing I'm going to cover is something called expression. So you can use expression to find and use special criteria to find the number of things in your list. I have 2 little setups here. The first one is the number, the second one is the text. So we'll do the numbers one first. So we want to find how many values in this list is greater than 15. May be useful for you if you want to find out, how many of your customers are paying more than they should, or not paying as more than they should. You can use a less than sign here as well. So we'll do equals to COUNTIF. Alright, I'll just select the whole column rather than doing A1 through A, whatever. How many numbers do I have? I have 25. Comma. Since we're using an expression, we need to use quotes. Even though we're dealing with just numbers, if you don't use quotes, it'll think that you're trying to put some kind of formula here, and we are actually, but it's an expression. So we'll do 15 greater than 15, and there are 17 numbers that are here greater than 15. You can count them later if you want. What happens if I do it without the quotes? You get an error. So we found a problem with your formula. Try clicking the insert button, blah blah blah. It doesn't really tell you how to do things. It just thinks your whole formula is wrong. So if you're working with expressions, make sure you use the quotation marks. COUNTIF less than or equal to 25 and 11. And this special little thing, it means not. In other programming languages, it would be an exclamation point. So we'll do equals COUNTIF does not equal to 5, right? Messed that one up. Because I selected the entire column, so it counted. This is a little funny actually. I'm just going to leave it up here. So it counted this many rows in the entire column. However high it gets is this value. It's a little funny. So I'm going to do it again right here. I'm going to do it the right way. COUNTIF. So instead of selecting the whole column, I'm going to select just the 25. COUNTIF, comma, 5. Should be 24. Yeah, there should be just 1 5 here. Yep. Right. So yeah, learn my lesson here. It's actually funny and interesting. Well, anyway, there you go. Expressions with numbers, so you can do comparisons, find values greater than whatever you're looking for. In terms of text, you can also do expressions and find out how many, let's say, 5-letter words you have, or 6 letters, or 7 letters. The only thing to note when you're looking for the number of letters is that it's an exact value, so you can't do greater than 5 letters. So we'll do COUNTIF. So I'm going to select the whole column because, so we'll do quotes, and the way to specify a letter here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. is within the question mark. So every question mark means a letter or a character. Actually, you can even do it with numbers. So we'll do this, and there's 14. We have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can count them later, but there's 14. You can also use the expression to find out how many words end in ES. So we're particularly looking for like Jones and James. There's another Jones here. I think I found them all. There's 3, maybe missing some. But let's do this. So we'll do COUNTIF, and the range is this, comma. We want to say, let's say 3 letters and then ends in an ES, right? It's pretty cool. There's 3 of them. Yep, I did find all 3. If I were to edit it and say only 2 letters, it's not going to find anything because there's no 4 letters with that ends in ES, so I'll just leave it at 3. And then not Smith, I used this here, right? I learned my lesson, so I'll do COUNTIF and select just the cells that have data, comma, and the criteria is not Smith. And there's 23. I have 27 names here, and 1, 2, 3, 4 are Smith, right? Yep, makes sense. Well, there you go. COUNTIFs, right? There are a lot of things that you can do with COUNTIF. You can combine it with count, you can combine it with your if statements. COUNTIFs that you saw earlier that pop up when you do COUNTIFs allows you to specify multiple conditions, which is pretty easy to do as well. Well, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I hope this tutorial was useful to you. If you want to see me cover a specific topic, please leave a comment and let me know. Remember to visit easyprogramming.net and subscribe. Thanks for watching.